I moved to California in October of 2022, and the job that I have now was only supposed to be a 3-month contract. So it was going to end December of that year. And this entire time, like literally God has provided for me, and he's like continued to, let doors open for me and stuff like that. Before I moved, I went back and forth about it because I was like, man, I'm fit to root up my whole life and move across the country for a 3-month job. And a lot of other people probably been like, I'm not doing that. There's no guarantee that I'm gonna get the job full time, whatever. But I took it anyway. This entire time they had been extending me every 3 months, every 6 months or whatever. So this, people kept asking me, they would check in and say, have you applied for any jobs yet? Are you looking? And I'm telling y'all, this entire time, I didn't apply to not one job. I didn't look for not one job. I didn't get on Indeed, no other job board. I didn't look for a job because I was like, God blessed me with this job. And, I'm just like, I don't serve no small God. I serve a big God. And I knew that he wasn't going to give me this job just to snatch it from me. So, back in June, I believe, my manager contacted me and she was like, this is the absolute last time that we can extend you because they couldn't extend past 2 years. So I'm just like, I ain't gonna lie, I had a moment where I was like, dang, like, what's gonna happen? But then I was like, nah, you forget who God is. I'm just like, he's gonna give me this. So long story short, they extended me for 2 years nonstop, and they just offered me the job full time like a week or two ago. So I'm going through that process now. But I just shared that to say, anybody that you feel like you're in a place in your life where you're trying to figure things out, you're trying to, God to show you where he wants you to be doing, where he wants you to go, just sit and be still. I know it's hard. I know sometimes we want to get, or we are impatient because we want things to happen quick. And I'm telling y'all, like, before I got this job, I was working in property management, and I was there for like 3 months. So I've been like this since I was a kid. Like, I have a big heart for, people living on the streets and, unhoused or things like that. So that particular job, I would get a check-in with my manager every week, see how things were going. And I shared that with them. And I was like, if I was able to work with the homeless population more, that would really make me happy. And I guess maybe that didn't align with, their goals for me or whatever it was. But literally, we had that conversation that Friday. And by that Monday, I had just got a new car. And it had some other stuff going on, and they called me that Monday, was like, we're gonna have to let you go. And when I say, like, I stood outside, I had just drove to work. So crazy thing is, as I was driving to work, the job was already kind of stressing me out. So I'm like crying, like, God, you gotta get me out of this job. And I tell you, as soon as I get there, I was there maybe 5 minutes. The lady called me on the phone and she was like, they've decided to let you go. And I literally just burst into tears. And I'm just like, did they say why? And she was like, they didn't give no reason why. But I knew it had to be because I said that, I would rather work with, the homeless population, which I didn't see anything wrong with that. So a few months went by, and those was probably some of the hardest months of my life or whatever, because I just feel like I was crying every day, and I'm just like, God, like, what's happening? So, but even in the middle of that, God still sent people to help me. Like, my bills never got behind. Like, people was helping me on my rent and stuff like that. And maybe 3 or 4 weeks before I got this job, I was like, man, like, it's getting down to a wire. Like, I was getting unemployment. I had people helping me out, but I didn't want people to, have to keep, using their funds to give to me, even though I know God put on their heart to help me. I was doing DoorDash and stuff like that just to make some type of extra money. But I was like, I'm gonna have to just go ahead and cash out my 401k so I can have money to pay my bills. And God just kept telling me, don't touch the money. And I was this close a few times, like, look, God, I'm gonna have to do something. And he just kept telling me, don't touch that money. But long story short, because I listened to God, I didn't get antsy, I didn't get impatient, like, I'm gonna take it out anyway. Because I didn't touch it, I was able to pay for my move. I paid to ship my car. I paid for the apartment when I moved here. So because I listened to God, and I didn't, like I said, I didn't try to rush or anything. So I just shared that, for, whoever's going into this week, you may be at a crossroads in your life. You're trying to figure out what you're supposed to be doing, what God wants you to do. I promise, just sit and be still. Like, he has everything worked out. And one of the beautiful things about this is the job I'm with now. I graduated college over 10 years ago. So when I first graduated college, I was applying to every job that I saw with this company because I really wanted to work with them, and I wasn't getting anything. A recruiter reached out to me for a position, but it wasn't paying what I thought I needed to move here to California, so I didn't take it. So fast forward, I didn't even apply to this job that I have now. The recruiter reached out to me on LinkedIn. So it's the same recruiter that reached out to me over 10 years ago. So I just thought that it was just beautiful how God like brought everything full circle. So like I said, you know, be patient and wait on God. Like, he got your best interest at heart. It may not seem like it. It may be hard. Like, I know a lot of people probably look at my life and think it's just, no. I cry just like everybody else. I go through things just like everybody else. I just choose not to just blurt that out all the time, because I would rather keep my eyes on God and just thank him for, you know, what I do have, like, you know, where he has brought me from and to, or whatever. And even when things are going on, it's like, okay, what lesson am I supposed to be learning in the midst of this? And sometimes it's not even a lesson. Sometimes we just go through things. But what is your heart posture? Why are you going through those things? When I was going through all that, when I lost the job, when they let me go, like, I was still praising God. I was still talking to him. I was still worshiping him. You know, we got to take the good with the bad. We got to take the easy and the hard. We can't just be like, you know, God, I'm going to serve you, or I'm going to love you, and I'm going to be happy with you as long as you're doing things for me. No, even in the bad times, still thank him, still praise him. Because when I didn't have a job, I'll be standing in my kitchen crying like, God, what you doing? What's for to happen next? But nonetheless, I was still worshiping him, and I'm going to continue to do that. So, but yeah, going into this week, trust God, stand on your faith, and just believe that he's going to do what he said he's going to do. He is a promise keeper. So have a great week.